Hi, I just wanted to throw some cards very quickly on Ghislaine Maxwell and what her future is, and her safety, her well-being, anything we need to know right now. Because Mike Johnson is now saying he thinks that she ought to testify and that they ought to just come right out with the truth. And that sounds to me like he's thinking of people that he could throw under the bus, doctor that list, throw in some more Democrats. Anyway, or those that aren't towing the Trump line. That's what I think. So let's take a look at Ghislaine. I looked it up how to pronounce it. There's a few ways you can pronounce it. There's an anglicized version and a more French version, but you know, I'll give the anglicized version a chance here. Because I don't think my French sounding Ghislaine, I could say Ghislaine, but nobody would know who I was saying. Ghislaine here. So let's take a look and see what her cards are really quick. What is going on for Miss Maxwell? How's she feeling? Is she in danger? Yeah. Is she in danger due to the Epstein issue? Is Ghislaine in danger due to her connection with Epstein coming back up like a sore from the past? She gets the three of swords and the five of cups. There's loss, there is sorrow, um, heartbreak. She could well be in danger. This is a card of mourning and it's suffering. And this energy covers her. It is hanging over her like this cloud in the three of swords. She's also looking at people betraying her, probably any inmates that she's, I think, spoken to. They're already talking to some of them. I think there could be a loss. I think there is a danger there with that three of swords and the card of mourning or grief. And three is being accented doubly in the three of swords, number one. And then when you look at the overturned cups in the five of cups, you'll see that three are overturned and there is loss, while two remain standing upright. But this person is focused on a loss of three. And when you see a repetition like this, three again, there's just to take note. Three comes up significant here. And it could be that if something happens to her, that would be something that's happened to um, Epstein, Jeffrey, and then Virginia may or, you know, may have taken her own life. She was very unhappy. Um, I don't know what to believe there, but I tend to think it's possible she could have. Just a feeling, unfortunately. So is it that? Is that would that be the three? Her, Jeffrey, and Virginia? I don't know. But I feel like it's talking about death. We have grieving there. And a sense of betrayal. Something unexpected is on its way here with the tower. When I'm asking about danger for her. And then we see recuperation or and retreat, healing. This could be even being a tomb. It could represent passing because we do have, when you look at the four of them, a theme of sudden passing, unexpected. There's the Chariot moving forward, and this is her. She's a Capricorn. I established that before the reading. There's movement with her moving forward. Are they going to move her to another location? Is this some sort of victory that she achieves over a setback that she's not anticipating? There's something that moves forward with her after some setback with the tower. And her, I don't know if she's going to have some sort of incident that she has to recover from, if it isn't that she passes from, to be honest. The Chariot and the Queen of Pentacles could also be the news of her going viral if something happens to her or her, just even her well-being, period. There's a great deal of worry. And I don't think that she sleeps exactly well at night. And I think there are people that are concerned about her testifying. This puts her potentially in a dangerous seat, you know? So with Mike Johnson wanting her to testify, um, it kind of feels like to me, like, is he signaling for something to happen? It doesn't, because the GOP was trying to fight it earlier. We get the devil. There is corruption, no kidding. And this is people that abuse their power. She is worried about them, and they are watching things. They are patiently watching to see how things play out, to see if things retain, if they retain, I believe, control with this list business. So they're going to play it by ear. I do see that there's a corruptive, high ranking power that is eyeing her situation. I feel like that they have plans, and it just depends on how things play out. And they've got something perhaps already more to the point figured out with their goal. There's a plan, and it's corrupt. And that could be to silence her. to accuse other people, to to manifest things, earthly things, and particularly with the Seven of Pentacles that control a narrative. There's the Page of Wands and the Ace of Wands. And then we go to the beginning of some kind of action, the start, with both the Page and the Ace. There's something goes down. This is independent wealth and lifestyle with the Nine of Pentacles, wealthy people, and the Fool, taking a chance, taking a risk. Maybe is this another risk like the risk you'd have to take to get rid of someone, like I think was done with Epstein? I think it could be by those that have the money to make things happen. They are waiting to act. And I do see them willing to take a considerable risk if need be. They want to win with the Six of Wands. And they don't want to end up with the Five of Pentacles in a decline of their lifestyle because of scandal. So they're looking to secure their interests with her silence. Because then they know for sure she can't, say something. We get a King of Swords. This could be Trump. And Jeffrey was he was a King of Swords. He was an Aquarius. This could be him as well. All right. Paired with the Page of Pentacles. This could be documents. This could be the list. Or, ledgers, things that would indicate diaries, anything that would indicate events where he's expecting guests, this kind of thing. Any kind of written proof or evidence, I think, is connected here in these cards. And I think Trump is also concerned that he would be on that in that paperwork, in the documents, in the list. There's a King of Pentacles and another man that's waiting with the Two of Wands. I'm sure there's a good few that are very nervous right now. I have forgotten to take a look and see what Prince Andrew is, but I'm sure he'd be one of them. And we're dealing with a lot of money, and we're wanting to suspend things, to either stop the process or sacrifice, make the effort to silence someone, at least to delay it. And I see this gives the Nine of Cups gives me the parties, that swagger and sharing with his friends. And they do not want this to come out. There's going to come a point though where it reaches a crossroads of where people are demanding information and they're not buying, as they are not, that there's no list. It's just going to continue to go back and forth. And we get the Ace of Cups and the Four of Cups. And there's an emotional connection that is not anticipated, that somebody just doesn't care here with this four. I'm sure that it's the difference between those that care about minors um, being used for pleasure purposes, that's illegal, and those that don't care about the rules. They care about what they want, their own emotions. There is a lot of emotional energy with that Ace of Cups that comes out and that will continue to come out, being pushed out, I feel, uh, because they're not going to want to act on this. I see a reluctance to move this forward, despite what people are saying on the GOP part. But there's an idea, and it could be that this idea where they could. My concern is you could get a fraudulent list for sure. Um, Queen of Wands and a Queen of Swords. There's two women being highlighted here. My sense is that they're probably within our government. And there's a male, a King of Wands. And there's a issue where there's being overwhelmed here. It's also possible these three could be on the part of GOP players. They could be like Pam Bondi and who knows, one of his other puppets in government. And I think there's going to be like a bullying match going on about this until this is finished or it comes to an end with the world, to bring something to a conclusion. And you're going to see people trying to manipulate full on. I think it's important that MAGA see this and see the strange behavior, if you will, that is being demonstrated right now, where they boasted about sharing this, and they're not, again, empty promises. That's not going to do Trump's numbers any good. And I predict that his number is going to go down again because of stuff like this. So I do see her in danger. Now I want to use the predictions deck, and I've got two of them. I think for her, though, I'm going to use the personal predictions deck by Trish James and just see what we get. So let me just put this on pause while I shuffle. Okay, so I'm asking if Ghislaine is in danger of being silenced in prison, of having someone cause her life to cease. With the personal predictions Oracle by Trish James. Is she in danger? It's important why I ask this twice with two different decks is I'm looking for confirmation. Is she in danger while she's in prison of being silenced forever? Okay, let's see what we get. Brain fog, confusion, and reward for effort. I think, yeah. I think somebody could make things seem confusing or brain fog. Like, again, It just reminds me of what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. There was like issues with the camera and the guards weren't where they were supposed to be. Just, a confusing blurring of the lines, I feel like on purpose, and reward for effort. This could be someone being um, rewarded for doing something to her. Boredom, inactivity, and fixing the problem. I think there are, once again, wealthy people that are tired of being feeling like she could possibly be a problem, and that they might be fed up with that being resolved, if you will, of her no longer being around to be. I think the feeling here is that they would feel a whole lot better if she weren't earthbound, on earth, shall we say. So I do think that there is danger around here because of fixing the problem and reward for effort, uh, brain fog, support system, and then we get a glow up or beautify. Could it be that she's going to be offered something to testify a certain way? If they want her to testify, maybe they'll be looking for her to do what they want, not remember. Maybe that's the brain fog as well. And offer her perhaps some kind of better place in, prison wise, something more bougie. There's a new beginning and calm, peace, clear of mind. Again, I get a sense of people just not wanting there to be any threat. And with that new beginning, it does concern me that either they're going to try to get her to speak the way they want. And if she doesn't do that, that's a problem. But even if she does, they may still want to ensure that she doesn't ever say something they don't want her to say. I get rest and relax and patience delays. So this might die down a little bit. With the delay and that rest, relax, it looks like there's, again, it's kind of pulling back. Then there's making progress and success, celebrate. Overworked, underappreciated, burdens responsibility. I think she's very resentful of what this puts on her, but too bad, it's her involvement. Not as expected. Uh-oh. Home family. Oop, not as expected. Home family. Emotional overwhelmed. Somebody's family. I think something could come out. And I did see eventually, I think there's some kind of list that could get leaked, possibly by someone like Elon. But protect your energy. Yeah. And I think this is also her. They might, they might say, if you do what we want you to do, everything will be all right. And maybe she'll be under that assumption and then see things are not going to be as expected. And this brings that emotional overwhelm feeling along with the need to protect oneself. and her life. So I do think that despite any kind of offer that might confuse her about who's looking out for her or offering her real safety, I think somebody could offer her something and she shouldn't trust it. Okay, let me see here. Is she going to be targeted for removal like Jeffrey? Is Ghislaine going to face the same fate as Jeffrey? At the end of the day, is Ghislaine going to face the same fate as Jeffrey Epstein? Caring for each other, happiness, high vibes, discontent and loss, breakthrough progress. It looks like a degree of some contentment is going to be lost. And there is some activity that is breakthrough. Could that be the leak like I saw in my other reading? I don't know. We get reconnect, relive the past. So then the past issues come back to, I think, haunt or worry her. And she's holding a phone. There could be records through phone devices, emails, electronic, and I get blackout chaos. So reconnect and relive past and reliving blackout and chaos. And reward for effort. This could be that she blacks out and there's chaos going on around her if someone tries to do something. I'm getting the reward for effort and I'm getting treat yourself. So I'm thinking either she is rewarded by not remembering, blackout, chaos, clearly, or she will have chaos legitimately around her and someone is rewarded for their effort. I keep getting that she could just be injured and have to recover. And here I get healing recovery because that four of swords that I got, that's a recuperation card. That's often a card that comes up when you've been really ill or when you're really ill or you've had a surgery or some major kind of thing that you're recovering from and you just are very vulnerable. Consequence, bad choice. Well, someone may not like what she's doing. And I feel like as a consequence also of her involvement with him, someone could be rewarded. I don't know that I think it's her that is rewarded for doing what they want. I really feel gut wise, first off, it's somebody else. And I feel like that is very reminiscent of what I felt about Jeffrey's situation. They hire or get someone else, other people to not be where they should be and make it worth their while to not reward. Release, letting go, changing direction. There is something, I think there could be an attempt. And while she's in recovery, there could be a change. And it could be that she rallies or she really doesn't. We're getting brain fog confusion. Could they put her in a coma or something like that? Time to reflect. Again, there is this lack of movement, and it's all going on in memory and the mind with the fours that I got here in this energy. Luck is on your side. Maybe she's going to pull through. Improve situation. Increased intuition and take a leap, take action. Well, if she follows her instinct, she will have more luck to, I think, survive an attempt. And I do think there is an attempt floating around out there. I picked it up years ago and I'm picking it up again. But honestly, both readings are showing me maybe that at this time, um, and that could change, but as of this time, if there's an attempt, it could be that she's lucky and she doesn't perish, um, and that she manages to pull through. But she would have to really be paying attention and use her intuition. And that would lessen. Boundaries challenged. So somebody could come into her space, success celebrate successfully. Lack of motivation and mental struggle. I think that she could have an event on her horizon that someone makes an attempt. It could affect her mentally, um, her cognition. I can't even pronounce it. Um, mentally, there could be brain damage, honestly, is kind of the vibe I'm getting, or coma or something like that, where she's not quite the same. I get career advance and vehicle transport. That doesn't really, I don't know. Unexpected surprise and avoid or keep to yourself. She got the tower earlier too. So I think that she needs to be very careful. Yes, there is a threat to her. And I think that somebody could be rewarded for their efforts to take her down. Right now, it looks like if that is tried, she's likely to still survive it, but maybe with damage. So, that energy's so not nice. I'm going to leave it right there. Let's just keep this in mind. And the only thing we can do is see what happens. All right. If you appreciate readings like this, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next live or reading.